on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new light, I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I'd like to use. I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
Okay, hello everybody. It's me, Francisco, joined by my good buddy Charles. We don't know where Andrew is, but Sports Goofs 213, and it's been a bit since we were last on. Life and things happening for all of us, but well, that's I guess a nice momentous occasion for us to start this because, well, Charles, the petty train rides on for 2025. So NFL has started. College football has also started, and we've had some nice couple weeks on. I think all of our teams ends right at this point. I don't know what you said.
Yeah, I mean, both of us, both true Florida teams, until he reveals that he's truly the Pegasus guy. I keep throwing digs at UCF. But the true Florida teams, FSU and UM, have been very successful in who they've taken down in comparison to UCF frauds. Gators, big time frauds.
Ooh,
Love it.
Yeah,
But
fantastic.
remember, for Francisco and I, if you need a refresher or if you're new and you don't follow us on the Twitter, follow us on Twitter, Charles the True, FJOJR Jr., Dan Frijoles, Sports Score Goofs, Marlins historian, Panthers historian, and our newly birthed baby Dolphins historian.
I'm gonna have I'm having a ton of fun with this one already.
The non-MAGA Dolphins historian.
That's true. It's a new one. Whatever happened to the original Dolphins history account, I guess he lost it in some sort of way. I'm going to assume it was something racist. So,
Well, he probably got caught on January 6th as one of maybe the only two people.
I mean, he would have been pardoned, right? So,
well, you never know. You know. But the point.
In any case, yes, I have that account now, and I decided to do it on week 1 because I'm like, well, it's not there. Nobody has it. It's available. If I'm going to try and, parlay this into some sort of thing where, like, I don't know, I just take every team historian account and just, like, make a media empire out of it, then I might as well claim that one. I can't.
Disney can have ABC, ESPN, essentially Fox, Hulu, Buena Vista Pictures, which makes the movies that are not the Disney movies. For instance, is going to take over the world.
Yeah.
What did I used to say? Goof World Order.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah.
More than you think.
Oh yeah. So it's been that was fun on week 1. I don't have many followers just yet. I mean, there's a ton of Miami Dolphins accounts. So it's only a matter of time if I just keep pushing it, which I am shilling it across my other 2 accounts. The Panthers one, doing fantastic for that because, well, Panthers won the Cup in back-to-back seasons, and I can kind of trash on the Dolphins in comparison, and people are just like, can agree with me completely in comparison to the other team. And then the Marlins won. Marlins completely fell apart after that Yankee series. So my season is done. Sorry. But I mean, the Yankees were frauds, right? Or maybe, I don't know, they're giving you a little bit of hope, Charles. But I mean, I'm ready for the downfall for the Mets because that's coming. So that's the one thing I'm looking forward to for the end of the Marlins season.
We're going to get to a nice commentary on that because it is a fandom show, everybody, but it was originally a sports show. And this is our beginning of sports time because we were kind of dry
Gotta put on
during
the big
summer.
TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing with football being back. As much as football is my fourth sport, it does provide a lot of uh, narrative and content and things to talk about just because of how much people kind of I mean it's the number one sport in America, right? So people really rely on it for something to talk about. And yeah, we could talk about I of course enjoy watching the Dolphins lose, and your Titans lost. We could talk about that.
That's fine.
We'll get there.
We're going to get to it. This is actually going to be probably the most structured show because of the
Maybe.
fact that we have all the. Kinda.
Yeah.
I know it's going to eat up a little bit. It's going to be the gaming because there's definitely commentary to have on that.
Yes.
But the sports stuff is going to be more structured and ironically less outlandish, I would think, than some of the stuff I'm going to say later on. But I don't know. Catch me on the right side of the bed. I might be gentle. I don't know.
Yeah. The gaming stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that we've been playing along the way in between everything else. I got non-sponsors as well, and I've been enjoying some stuff that's not gaming. And well, let's go into baseball because we might as well get to it now. And then hockey and basketball are on their way next month. But all right, so we got the screen here. We'll go to the baseball standings right now, Charles. Lot of the wild card races. I do actually like the fact that they did open these up with more teams because it just makes the season more interesting. And I think that's the other thing with football being back is just everybody whose team is out of it now. Now they have something to talk about and kind of focus because I mean when you just have a terrible baseball team over the course of a summer, like it just makes things awful. I'm glad the Marlins kind of peaked where they did because it took over most of the summer when they made their comeback.
Yeah, it survived you.
Yeah,
a good amount.
And then the drop off, and then like 2 weeks later, like college football starts, and now we're here. But we'll start with the National League, then we'll go to the American League. As far as the standings are concerned, I'm just gonna go to the wild card. You've got the Brewers, who are just gonna somehow be good in the regular season, then somehow fall apart in the playoffs like they always do.
We're not buying into that.
Yeah,
because it's like I could believe it to a degree, and I've been catching up with them, but like I feel like I get this every year from them at this juncture.
You do, and this team is. I mean, they're not big boppers in that sort of sense. They do have a lot of small ball. Now they put up a ton of runs, and have a pretty competent pitching staff as well. So it's just whether they can translate that to an actual playoff series when you're just playing 3 or 4 games, at least. Then it's like, okay, what's this team really made out of when they're facing the same team over and over again, and really got to dial it down. And that's something the Brewers just haven't been able to do. Like 2018, they made it to NLCS, and then they just they make the playoffs, but they don't really do anything with it. The Phillies are a good team, a really good team that mashes and has a pretty competent pitching staff this season too, at a hitter's park too, which is also kind of the dangerous thing for them is that they have pitchers that can actually hold you down in the bullpen. They got a closer in Duran as well, playing a really important 4-game series against the Mets, which is pretty juicy there. Then you got the West, the Dodgers. They're just kind of big coasting. It's them and the Padres. They're kind of jostling there, but they're not really elite.
In that sense, excuses that people are injured. They're doing this. They blew back. Look, you blew 2 back-to-back no-hitters from Yamamoto and Glasnow. Like years ago, when we first started this show, I was like, man, I really enjoy watching Dodgers play. That's before they became like Thanos, just trying to get the Infinity Ring on it. Mm-hmm. Then it became like, you know what? Fuck them. One. And I don't care because the thing is, I care a lot. Who am I kidding? But in retrospect, with a lot of it comes down to that they're not going to sweat on it, but I don't think they realize, and they should care. And I don't know if because they haven't been there in such a long time of being terrified of losing big. You know what I mean? And because you just cultivate everybody. If you get the wild card spot, that's a best of 3. And all your people are tired. All your people are busted. Shohei, even though he's probably 90%, 95% locked to be MVP again, there's still a fat guy named Kyle Schwarber, and we're supporting that fat guy.
Yes.
Because all he does is throw bombs. And if Cal Riley is probably going to get the AL MVP for just having a lot of home runs and RBIs
and
in comparison to having like a 247 batting average,
and a big
in
ass
comparison
too.
to somebody in comparison to somebody who possibly can break 50 home runs, be number one in batting average at 3.21, leading the league, and then like number one OPS, because you know what's going to happen. I'm going to put a pause on one thing just to attack them.
Oh,
you
boy.
know I hate them. Voters and writers lie to you. And the biggest lie they tell you, they're just like your politicians who tell you they care about you. They just want your vote. Baseball writers and voters only care about dingers. Plain and simple. Do not let them at all tell you anything different. That's why they have bifurcated and created so many different other awards. It's the same way with football, where you're always a quarterback that wins an MVP most of the time, right? When it shouldn't have been for several years to a degree. But, you get certain pitchers who get MVP in baseball, and it's super rare. Verlander and Kershaw are the only two. But everybody, it's usually like how they're hitting, how many dingers. And look, Judge is suspect to that as well. He doesn't play the most demanding defensive field. That's why we create Gold Gloves, right? And then Shohei, even if he came in as a two-way sensation, two-way being pitching and hitting, the award he's always going to get is because he hits dingers. And look, Shohei's actually doing fine. I don't even hate Shohei that much because there's a certain man who has been in my line of sights for the whole entire year. And he's doing exactly as I expected him to do with Juan Soto. But I accept the fact that Raleigh's probably going to get it just because he's going to hit dingers. And look, if a catcher hits 50, that's impressive. Okay, sure, fine. But then I'm sick of people telling me that MVPs go to guys who the team need them the most because the Yankees were god-awful when what's-his-name was hurt.
Yeah.
Except for Giancarlo Stanton. Should be nominated. But whatever.
I mean, second half MVP, Giancarlo Stanton.
Really? Jesus Christ.
60
man.
games played, he's hit 19 home runs. That's like a home run every 3 games.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous, and we're up like 2-0 now.
He's hitting 281, by the way. Power hitter hitting 281.
Yeah! Power hitter hitting 281, being focused, and last year I'm like, this is the year, right? This year I'm like, this could be the year. Not having Cole really hits, it took my left testicle, man. Like, I haven't had a Cole job in forever, and then Freed just bothers me.
Yeah, the Freed FAP is kind of not as satisfying in a sense.
It's like it's prostitution essentially. I know he's gonna be good, but it's not the same excitement. But we both have to kind of walk away from here. Look, he's got 16 wins. Rodon, I always feel like he's the unsung hero because every year for like the last 3 years, like aside from the back injury, you hear me go and say, "Listen, I know what I'm getting out of him, and I'm fine with it," which is probably the most mature I think I've ever been with any of my players and anything. But I don't what a Rodon righty, maybe like. Try next year, Los. I'm sorry.
Rodon,
yeah, back to Dodgers Padres. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm into that. Maybe. I don't know. Rodon's a handsome guy. So, the Dodgers, the Padres, okay, whatever. But keep an eye out a little bit to San Francisco, who it feels very gritty of a team, and the Mets do not have that set spot for the wild card.
No,
and I looked at that schedule. That is a hard schedule.
No, so that's yeah. I've got it here on the screen.
That's a brutal schedule.
With so actually, hold on. There's a beautiful site that we can do this for. I'm locked. Get this out. Come on, get me out of here. Hold on 1 second. There's got to be a way to reset. There it is. Okay. Let's go to tankathon.com. I can't believe I'm not keeping track of this because the Marlins are not in the running for that. But
I'm a hater, so I'm always kind of partially paying attention to some stuff.
Yeah, so tankathon.com, they've got MLB Draft Lottery, but I'm going to go to remaining strength of schedule. Got it on the screen here. Let's go to the National League, and let's go to the NL East in particular. I'll just go to the National League because this is we're talking about them right now. So,
if any of the listeners hear a loud grunting sound, I don't know how to connect these headphones to my Switch 2. I don't
Yeah.
think that software is there yet. And I was like, all right, I'm playing Donkey Kong because
Yeah.
I tried.
I don't know if your headphones
Maybe
have
I
like a
mixed-
firmware thing. You might have to do that.
They do. They
Yeah.
do, but I can't do it in the process of doing the show.
Right.
And very rarely do I do my headphones for the Switch because as much as I love the Switch, there's a reason why I bought Jolene, man. Like I'm just gonna blast that. With the PlayStation 5, there's certain games where I think the headphones are proper. You know, like 100%. Returnal, always gonna be a good example. Or if you want anything
MGS Delta has the 3D audio now.
Well, we're gonna get to that. Like,
Yeah.
I can run on rants. I'm wired. I'm actually probably more focused. I don't think I've had like. I think it's because, you know, I'm talking with you now with my teeth out because I didn't want to brush it, so you get a different kind of clarity. If you guys remember, your boy got his Invisalign. Smiles come in very nice lately. I have a beard. I don't like it, but it's okay. We're still growing. Anywho, Tankathon. Cardinals don't know what the hell happened to them. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're just not there yet on their rebuild, so it's fine. Yeah, the Arizona Diamondbacks, who always seemingly like just trade everybody, but still kind of hang around, which is always
They got hurt.
Yeah, they got hurt this year, but they still somehow have
Real bad,
a competent team if they just kind of stay healthy and just sign some guys. So they kind of just stick around. They never really.
Well, that saves Lavoyo's job, or
Yeah.
whatever his name is, because
Yeah.
remember World
Lavoie.
Series,
Mhm.
and then they didn't even go last year.
They got close,
And
but
they
they
put
missed
on
it.
money.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, look, if Brandon Hyde can get fired in Baltimore, which he should not have gotten fired, we all agree with that. It's just Baltimore's dumb. Even with new ownership, they're dumb. And maybe if you collect, can I say this? Can I be salacious? If you, screw it, I don't care. It's our show. If you actually just like draft and sign like non-white players, it'll be okay. Just saying, like those guys look like, along with Jackson Holiday and the rest of them, and they look like they stand outside Black Friday at American Express. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then the Cincinnati Reds and New York Mets have the two toughest schedules to end the season in the National League, and the Mets are barely hanging on to their wild card spot. The Reds are kind of trying to hang around, and then the San Francisco Giants have a pretty easy schedule to finish out the season, with just like the Dodgers being their main rival to kind of ruin things for them if they wanted to. But depending on how situations go with the Padres, they might not need to have a good series at the end to clinch the playoffs, or you can just rest some guys for the playoffs. But yeah, the Mets are currently in a 4-game series against the Phillies. They lost game 1 yesterday. They're losing right now in Philly. And they
called up all these young prospects, which is the biggest sign of desperation. They called up the pitching.
I think they sent down Kodai Senga to like the minors to work on some things.
Bad,
yeah,
his mechanics were off because he's probably actually injured, and it is not beyond. I'm gonna say right now, it is not beyond any professional team in any sport to be close to playoff seasons and not like acknowledge injuries. We all know it's there. It's a dirty game. That's just my conspiracy.
So they play the Padres, or then they play the Phillies. They play the Texas Rangers next. Then they play the Padres.
I don't want to play. I do not want to see that team.
Yeah, the Rangers are kind of sneaking up on people right now.
All their draft picks with Kamar Roger, and then Kamar Rocker. I'm sorry, and then the other kid, Mark Leiter or Jack Leiter. Yeah, Jack Leiter, the son of Al Leiter, who's on there too. Yeah. I don't want none of that smoke, dude.
Yeah.
And then when you got big old ass to Adolis Garcia, man's forearms are as big as my damn leg.
Mm-hmm. So you got them, and then they have a series against Washington, which is probably their only reprieve in all of this. And then they have the Chicago Cubs as well, who are probably just going to try and lock up their spot as far as the seeding is concerned for the wild card, because I don't think they're catching up to Milwaukee at this point.
And Kyle Tucker is on the IL, so they're just gonna try to coach.
Yeah, so they might get lucky where the Cubs need to be resting at that point, but unless the Cubs are kind of falling apart, they might need to actually take that series seriously, so the Mets might be in for a fight there. And then they have their last 3 games. Their final series is against the Marlins, and the Marlins already took 3 of 4 from them earlier this month. And
Stowers is back too.
Yeah, and the Marlins are not really a push-around team that way that people thought they would be, especially against the Mets. So this season the Marlins have a winning record.
If you are in the 70-win column, you're under 500, but
Yeah.
I don't want to fight you.
Yeah, the Marlins are 4 games away
I don't
from
want that smoke.
getting 70 wins, and so they could reach as high as 75 wins, which is, I mean, man, it's a successful season already. It already is.
It's
And
what? It's a 30, almost 20 or 30 game jump.
we lost 100 games last season, so
yeah,
and
that's great progress.
yeah. So if they make a 10-game improvement already in one season, then I can expect that for next season or more. If they,
we're doing some good analysis. You
Yeah.
make a good 10-game improvement with letting Skip go with the new guy, and then like really just letting you're aside from Stowers, whoever Soppin Kloppin is, I'm about to beat him up. Aside from Stowers or Stowers, give credence to like Yuri and his development because I still think Sandy is gone. He's just going to be a winter,
yeah, because he's played himself up.
Because that's where the value is.
He's played himself up the second half of the season because he's already had some like 2 or 3 quality starts where he's gone deep into 7th inning and such. So he'll be a good trade piece as much as I'd like to keep him going into next season.
He could at least yield you prospects and legit players.
Yeah, but I need guys that can play now. Like I don't need really prospects. I need guys that are like, hey, these guys are actually ready to go. Let's do it. But anyways,
it just depends on who you have.
Yeah.
But I know who you would trade him to if you want to laugh. And,
yeah.
It's just I like your team because I'll follow all my buddies' teams.
Mm-hmm.
I know who is that team that would probably love having you guys. A team like Cleveland because they're still going to be shedding salaries, so they're going to get those middle line deals from the slightly above average veterans out of the way. You're not going to get Jose Ramirez, sorry, but we know the kind of teams that are out there. You and I know the kind of teams that would like that Sandy, and then you actually get some good equity out of it.
Yeah, a team that needs a good number 2 if Sandy's really doing good, or a number 3 starter. So, because I don't expect him to be an ace on another staff anymore. All right, so yeah, that's what's going on in the National League. The American League right now, I don't have it up, but I'll put the strength of the schedule anyways up here. So as far as the wild card is concerned, the divisions right now, the Blue Jays are leading the East, but not by much. Not by much.
They're down 2 now to the Astros, and if we just keep winning, we took 2 out of 3. I was pleasantly surprised.
So you got
it is not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not out of our reach.
Right. The Tigers have won their division. Doesn't even matter at this point. They're just gonna lock that in because Cleveland's not gonna catch up to them. And then you got
it's a Shaq versus Kevin Hart kind of division there.
Right, and then people have been making fun of the National League West, like, oh, nobody really wants to win it. But I mean, you got Houston, who you don't really want to face in a short series because of just the way, just
I don't want to see King Shorty Jose Altuve in my face.
You got the Texas Rangers, who are hot right now.
Don't want that. Do not want that. If you guys know ball,
right?
I don't want that team.
And I mean, as much
because
as
you forget who the manager is too.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got the Seattle Mariners.
You want to mess with that?
You got the Seattle Mariners, who might actually maybe finally do something in the playoffs this year, depending, right? But in the short series, they've won short series already in the playoffs. They can win a wild card round at the very least. Yeah. So that's not a team you want to face.
They have hitters.
Yeah, they got guys that can mash. They really do have guys. Their offense is really, really good. Still, it's just their pitching is a little suspect. But hey, in a short series, they can still do it, and they're kind of streaking right now as well. They're a streaky team too. So if you catch them on the wrong end of a streak, that's it could spell some bad things. But the American League East got Boston and New York and Toronto, not far away from each other. Yeah. So
it kills me because I hate Alex Cora. We all know I hate Alex Cora. I think he cheated, and then they're probably gonna get a heater in the World Series.
Now, luckily, the Red Sox for you have the fourth, or actually in the American League, the second hardest schedule to finish the season because they got Toronto, they got you guys, and they got Detroit as far as the toughest teams, and then they got Tampa and Sacramento or whatever for 5 games.
I will say, I looked at, and this means literally nothing, on September 9th, 2025, when it comes to the end of the season, but I'm still gonna address it a little bit. The lineup, if you look at actually how the possibilities of the season and today nonsense, there's a lot of good rivalry games.
Oh yeah,
us versus the Reds.
Yeah, you guys have let's see, your final opponents this month. You got 3 against Detroit, 3 against Boston. So those are your hardest teams, and then you got you got Chicago, Minnesota, and 7 against Baltimore. So you got those, and then Seattle's also got a pretty. I think it's in the American League the least hardest schedule, but they do have L.A., Houston, Kansas City to finish out their season as well. So, yeah.
I view it as this. I don't think Boone comes back, so it just makes me happy if I could just be gifted there. And I think it's a strong possibility. He really has to get out of it because it's just been how he's played guys.
So for Aaron Boone, like, is it World Series win or bust, or like if he makes the American League Championship, he's staying? You know.
I say ALCS. He stays because the thing is that's how Hal is. You know, he likes to be loyal to his guys. Yeah, and like to a degree, if you're able to make the ALCS with the dearth of injuries that we've had, winning divisions
without Garrett Cole, right?
Yeah.
They're like, with Garrett Cole, we might actually make the World Series, right?
Well, it was out Garrett Cole and Lucas Gill still coming around, but he's looking better. But they unnerved something very special with Cam Schlitter, and then Will Warren's like half and half, right? He does what he can. It's just depending on you need to actually beat the right guys. Last year, getting there, I feel like that. I hate to say it condescendingly, and possibly because I also don't remember everybody that we played, but it didn't feel as difficult as it would be this year. If I got to go through Boston, then I got to go through, Blue Jays, and if I got to go through the Astros, right? Like that's something to presumably play either against the Dodgers or once again the Dodgers or Philly. It's just because I really think Philly's just stellar all around, even with the injuries they have. It can still bring some guys in. It's just so impressive. You just have to acknowledge that, and I acknowledge that. I just think that the sins of his past of last year's World Series, such as bringing in Nestor and then just letting that team implode for a gentleman's sweep that wasn't even trying to be a gentleman's sweep. Trust me, the Dodgers were trying to kill us. They wanted a 4-game out. It was, and I told you guys, and I'm always going to relate back to it, if he actually does it right, I think that was a winning team. I thought we could have beaten the Dodgers, but lack of discipline, lack of execution, and all he wants to be known for, and I said this last time on, I'm going to bring it up again. He just wants to be known as fighting for his guys, and that's what he's always kicked out. Mm-hmm. And I don't care about that. I'm just looking at Skip Schumacher, and I'm like, how much you want, baby? How much you want? I'll buy you all the nice things. I'll get you the nicest, cheapest pizza off Jack's Nights Queens.
So that's baseball. So we're done with that.
Baseball. I got
yeah. And I don't think we're going to do a super long show, so we're half an hour in. So soundtrack in the background is Metal Gear Solid 3. So that's what we got playing going on. And
why is that, Francisco?
Yeah, I've got Delta. I haven't really delved into it so far, Charles. You already have it, right?
Yeah, I picked up.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. That's right. You have
Trujillo
it.
Luck.
Yeah.
Trujillo Luck.
Yeah, that's right. You got it.
I pre-ordered it because I have expiring credits at Best Buy that I use for my cert. And guys, I tell you, it's the weirdest thing. Remember, I got a backpack a couple years ago from Macy's for free when I just ordered shirts, and it was just like a mess up thing. I technically got Metal Gear Solid Delta a day before physical disc edition, before it was actually supposed to be released and transported. So I got like August 27th instead of August 28th. And no, I did not install it that same day because I was like, I'm like, okay, what if it breaks my damn computer? Because I've seen that happen. Or not computer, my PlayStation, because I know that's the sort of thing. So plus, I didn't even play it immediately because I was about to finalize another Kojima game. But yes, I have it. So ironically, that might be that game that Francisco and Charles kind of like play at the same time.
True.
Like,
yeah,
he already finished Donkey Kong, and I'm doing it now.
Yeah. Death Stranding is not out on PC, so I can't play it. So just kind of left out from that. Yeah, I know. You had a lot of emotions about that game so far, and I feel like
In
we're gonna
time.
have a review of that coming today in a way. So, but yeah, Metal Gear Solid Delta. I've just done Snake versus Monkey, but even then, I haven't really delved into it. I did get it for with the pre-order bonus for cheap or relatively cheap actually. Less than full price, which of course is Charlesing in a way, right? So,
Yeah.
so that's
Anything that is, remember, you're always paying more than the listed price because of tax.
right.
Just remember, kids.
Nah, I just can't trade it in, obviously, because I bought it on PC. But regardless, I'll have it. It's on Steam for quite a while, and I'll go through it. It's Metal Gear Solid 3, but with a very very fresh coat of paint, and I'm sure there.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Right. That there were some bugs at the beginning of all that, obviously, but at this point, those are pretty much ironed out. It's a 20-year-old PS2 game, so I'm not expecting too much, right? And I've already played it in a way. And when I already played Snake vs. Monkey a little bit, and it's pretty much the same control scheme. So it's not the control scheme of Metal Gear Solid 5, Charles. They did not use that engine at all. So it has no relation
They
whatsoever.
probably don't know how to use the Fox engine.
Yeah,
I think Kojima took everybody.
maybe, right? I think, yeah, I would think so. Because I mean, obviously, with Death Stranding, you can see everything that was built on from Metal Gear Solid 5, right? The camera, just everything about it, and the way things control. But man,
5 is just so good. One of my Twitter people,
Yeah.
on my TL, he's replaying them all,
hmm
and I'm like, "Ugh, I want to replay.
I honestly,
It-
I hope the Fox engine, which is what they used and created for 5. Like, I'm still waiting for an actual remake of like those 2D Metal Gear games, like Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Using that engine, because I think that's probably like the best. Like, okay, you're not gonna make new stories in this series. You might as well just tell some old ones, using some new stuff, right? And that's the only way I can actually justify that happening. But as far as gaming is concerned, I mean, we'll delve right into it. I have that. I'm just completing some games. I already reached my game goal for this year, which is 25 games at the very least, regardless of length or quality. So we can kind of go through it a little bit, but not too much because we kind of already went through that before. As far as anything notable or significant,
yeah, well, tell me what you thought was the best investment of your time, because that's the hard thing, guys. Francisco's an adult. He works like 7 to 12, basically.
Oof.
I'm kind of becoming an adult now,
Mhm.
and my time, I can't always just play. Sometimes my brain's just too white when I don't want to. I cut up on a lot of TV, but which was good too when you have good television. Like you're on, you're on it. But tell us in the audience.
So I'm pulling up my How Long to Beat profile right now and just kind of pulling up.
One day I should make that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just fun to kind of just keep track of it, and it keeps your scores here and your play times and what console you did it on. So obviously, got through Donkey Kong Bonanza, finished that, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Very much worthy of my time. Not enough for me to 100% it though. I got close, maybe 85% of it, which is good enough for me.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
I got my money's worth. I stuck 50 hours into the game, and I saw what the 100% prize was at the end of it, and I'm like, not really worth me seeing it on my actual screen. I can just watch it on YouTube, and I did. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Nothing too outlandish. It's a Donkey Kong game, so it's so that was that. As far as what else did I played New Super Lucky Tale. Okay, platformer. Not.
Yeah,
I mean,
I remember it.
Yeah. People kind of hyped it up more than it should have been. I'm just like, this is kind of an okay platformer. Like, definitely not of the echelon of, you got your Marios and you got Astrobots and even
It's like a lower person's Crash, if I remember correctly.
even Crash is a higher standard, in that sort of sense. Like I get more thrills out of Sonic and stuff, but it felt like, hey, this is for like anybody that's like 7 or 8 years old or something. That'd be a fun game. But anything more than that.
Side note: do I do forest or freeze or layer first? I'm at that crossroads.
I mean, it just depends on what power you want from it. I think the more, I guess.
I have freezer pants on.
I think. Yeah, I guess I mean, do you like ice levels in your platformers?
I have no choice but to, except I'm not the one that makes it, you know.
Cause like no, it's just like in platformers, right? Like I don't like desert levels. I've never really liked desert levels in any video game that I've ever played in. So it's like if I had to choose between an ice level and a desert level, I'd choose an ice level, right? So that's.
Well, I'm gonna go with freezer, considering the fact that we were in the top, and then we went lagoon, and then we went to the furnace.
It's like you want a forest level, or you want an ice level. So there you go. Yeah. Okay. Actually that ice level is pretty interesting with some of the elements that they have. So that go with that one actually.
We're doing that.
Okay.
As long as I can revisit the other.
As far as everything else, I played We Love Katamari. Got through that. That's fun. Always fun. You just roll stuff up. You can kind of turn off your brain a little bit, and get scolded by your dad, which of course brings lots of memories. So because you just disappoint him, and he's unhappy with you, and so you get to kind of. But when he's a benevolent dad, he's a benevolent dad, the king of all cosmos. So I enjoyed that one thoroughly. And then fun game is something that was weird, but I played it for a bit, and you saw some of my reactions to it. Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator.
Hey, sometimes there's that one game, man.
I mean, it was on I saw a little trailer because I have something set up on my computers where it's basically laid out like a console, and it has screensavers, and they'll play trailers, right? And so I saw the trailer, and I'm like, this kind of seems like my jam right now. I had finished Donkey Kong, and I was like, I need something that kind of level me down, but be different. So pick something really weird, and it's just it's like stock trading, right? But you're not trading for commodities or anything like that, or services. You're trading organs like hearts and eyeballs and spleens and kidneys and bladders and souls. You actually trade for souls as well. And you can play it like the stock market, where you can invest in some stock in hearts, right? And price of hearts are going up, and use that to utilize to be able to buy stuff on the actual market and trade with people and you're selling these body parts and things like that. Sometimes the planet blows up and there's just a litany of livers that you can get, so the price of livers goes down, right? Because there's just a lot on the market. So, and then you have people doing some nefarious things. You get these orders, right? Because you're running a little store out of all this, and people are ordering like, I need 2 eyeballs for my security system. Okay, all right, so I'll get you some eyeballs. So it was just kind of fun, and they have like about 12 or so different endings. I got like 4 of them because you could just keep playing and get all the endings, but you're just kind of doing the same thing after that for quite a while, and you just want to see the endings. You can just kind of look it up on YouTube, because I already got the gameplay loop, and I'm just like, okay, for me to keep doing this just to see the endings, I don't know if I really want to do it. I still have it installed on my computer in case I get the itch to trade some organs. But I enjoyed the gameplay loop, which is the big thing for me, right? If you don't have that hook that keeps you going and just doing the same thing, where it's like, okay, an hour has gone by, and you're like, okay, let me play for 5 more minutes, and then another hour goes by, right? So I did exactly right. I got that out of Space Warlord Organ Trading, and I do recommend it if you're into that weird sort of stuff. It's not popular. It's out there, but it's on the Switch, it's on the PlayStation, it's on the Xbox and PC, so it's out there. If you want to do it, on the Switch, I could see that as a really good title, right? That seems like perfect portable game. firing up on the PC. Yeah, but even then, you kind of have your computer laid out like those stock traders have their computers laid out, and it's like, oh, okay, this is how this is. Um, Still not like pushing me towards. I mean, I did open up my Robinhood account for the first time in years while playing this game. So let me look at some stuff and see like they're not trading, livers today. I'm like but really fun. I really do recommend it. I gave it an 8 out of 10 actually. For
those
my
indie
time.
games, that's what kind of makes it interesting, to a degree, because they're actually creative. Where you need innovation, I think, too, and that's what kind of like designates an opportunity to just enjoy it when it's silly but kind of creative and addicting. It's a healthy trio, because in today's day and age, there's a lot of repetition. Like we're always copycatting, and we want to be better, and stuff like that in comparison to some of the other things.
Yeah, and I wanted to I know this year I've been having some good variety in my games, right? Yeah, I played Doom earlier this year. That's an FPS. I played Donkey Kong, obviously, with a platformer. Jurassic World with the park sim, right? Katamari Damacy, which is different. MDK2 I played since the last time we were on the show. Retro game that came out on the Dreamcast, on PC, on PlayStation 2. And just a dumb game, like a B movie level game, in the sense of like No More Heroes in that sort of sense, right? Where it's just a dumb plot going on. You got aliens attacking Earth, and you got the scientist crafting some weird stuff, and he's got a robot dog with like 4 arms that you can shoot guns with each arm, and it's just dumb. It's just a really dumb game, and I really enjoyed it because I played a demo of it on my Dreamcast a long time ago. I never got the real game, so I finally got to play the game from start to finish, and I'm like, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I wish I had this on the Dreamcast a long time ago, but I gave it this scoring system only gives me 8 and 7s, like full numbers, doesn't give me 0.5s or anything like that. I would give it a 7.5. I had to put a 7 or whatever, but fine, whatever. 7.5 out of 10 for me. I think you can still get it on PC, but I don't think it's on any modern systems anymore. But I do recommend it if you do come across it, if you just want to play something stupid and dumb, with a little bit of humor to it. Like in that early 2000s, late 90s sense of humor. Okay?
Just basically that modern R-rated comedy, kids.
Yeah. I mean, a game that was like T for teen, but around that time frame. It was actually developed by BioWare. Actually, BioWare made that game. So, yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing over the last few weeks, Charles. But you went through a journey, which is something different.
I was doing like a platitude of games, a vast variety, if that's the proper word, platitude. Something to say it is, right? Because, like, as I mentioned, when you know you're the long haul, and you're going to be playing a whole lot of variety of games, you need diversity. Like those games that are just 80 hours, 60, anything over 40, you need a buffer. And I was buffering like 4 games. We were playing Split Fiction. It is not a great port on the Switch, but the Switch is so economical for me to go to many different places. So, like, yeah. I already know it's going to be one of those games where I just don't give a rating unless I play on the PS5 where I was attention. Just enjoy the moment, right? We are sometimes too arbitrary on ratings. Charles, just enjoy the moment.
It has crossplay, right? I mean, you can play your...
It has crossplay. Remember I told you? Like, I was like, hey, man.
I mean,
I could game share.
I could download it on my PC and just kind of, or on my Switch, right? So...
Mm-hmm. But okay. Yeah, you could do it on those. It's just remember, like, the ports for the Switch 2 are not going to be perfect yet. Give another year, then you're going to get stuff there. It's more like 1080p. Like, okay. But, it runs fine. What am I doing? I'm playing about nothing, right? It's fine. Life's good, right? That's the mindset. It's just I'm a snob of gaming, as you know. I just can't enjoy the mustard. I have to have Dijon mustard, right? And that's the consequence. Doing DK as in between when I want it, but I haven't had time to like really dedicate a lot of time to it, which you shouldn't, right? You shouldn't want to do 5 hours straight of DK, I know you did. I'm saying for me though, it's like all right, like play around it. And then I was doing some Pokemon, which is good. I haven't touched in a couple weeks, but that's fine. Pokemon's a longevity game. Plain and simple, it's longevity. You pick up, play, you're right. And then what was the other game I was doing besides Death Stranding? I not, it was in my head. I don't know if it was a Switch game. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just it was just those 4 games. What the hell I'm talking about? I'm already scheduling for the idea. But I went on a journey. And it's gonna be my non-sponsor. But do you want the review or you want the non-sponsor? Or you want the both?
I mean, we could go. I mean, let's roll into it. We're 45 minutes in, so let's do it.
All right. So, Death Stranding 2 came out in the end of June, like June 27th, and I got it. And Francisco and I, we were just big fans. We're Kojima boys. What can we say? We're really just attached to it. And the first one was like a perfect imperfect mess because we got we both got the director's cut. My buddy had gifted me for like Christmas, and I've been around for a couple of years, and I thought it was just the walking simulator game, right? That was my thing. And I'm like, yeah, I've played Kojima games. He's weird at times. I kind of like it, stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, but, you buy me something. And the thing is, if you buy me a game, folks, I'm actually going to put that on the big list. I don't do that as backlog because that's what it means, that you thought about me. It might be a good game, might be a bad game. Regardless, you got that for me. Thank you. Okay, we're going to do that. I'm considerate. So I played it. He's like, it's one of my favorite games. I loved it. Go from there. And I loved 1. We know I loved 1. I gave it like one's like gameplay is like a 7, really, but then like the story really made it to a 9. So I was like, all right, it's just one of those things where like, yeah, I know my kid's a screw up, but you know what? It's my kid. That was kind of fine. 2 came out, and it was a 72-hour journey, and I had to do at a certain point you'll just stop wanting to get 5 stars and connect. But we had talked about it before on the prior shows about the need and want and the wholesomeness of just connectivity, want to help people. It is about 11 months or a year after the events that happened in 1. And in the first couple of hours, some stuff happens. You're like, all right, Sam, we're in Mexico. What's going on? And then we're going to go to Australia. That's as much as I would give without going too much of a spoiler. It's Kojima. And Kojima is a very much, he want, you can tell he wants to be a movie director. He loves films. He loves everything. He's very diverse, and he impacts a lot of stuff. And I think what he did was give you the sum of all the best parts of the games he had done before. Like, the game's engine is just a little bit better. That Decima engine and what they created there at Kojima Productions is just stellar. The gameplay is a lot more smoother. Like, I didn't really, like, in the first one, try to kill everybody. Or not kill them. You know what I mean? I try to keep as stealthy as possible, but the gunplay is better. Visually, it's just amazing. I sent you clips without them being spoilers. I'm like, I'm literally playing a game. What is this? And it's not just like character models. It's like looking at the stars. It's looking at the sun. It's when it rains. It's when you see these BTs who are annoying. And Charles, did you play on the easiest mode? No, I went on the easy mode. I didn't go story mode. I'm a baby. I didn't see the point of going for normal. If you don't have a trophy affiliated with it at 36, I'm 36, guys. Sorry, I got old in between the break of the show. At 36, I'm gonna say, all right, foundationally, and also because when you're shooters, because to a degree it's kind of like a shooter, but you can punch things, you're really just being a bullet sponge. I rather not, right? But it was just one of those games where I would put in there, and I really didn't feel the weight of what I was playing or the monotony of what I was playing up until I got to hour 25 or 30. That's why I texted you. I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel it now. And then I just switched it to doing I was listening to an audiobook in between because hours would go by. There was something therapeutic about it where I felt connected to this game. And I didn't play much, remember, the first couple of weeks when it came out because I was transitioning to a new job. I was trying to get everything set up and going from there. All these little things, going from that. And then I just sat down and I went. And it is beautiful. It is emotional. It is the same themes that he brings up in a lot of his games, if you've actually played Kojima games, about human resiliency and hope. Whether it's good or bad, I'm going to preface that because how you feel about Big Boss, you'll be like, hold on a second, guy. But you know what I mean by that statement. So it's fine because you could have hope for the wrong reasons. It's just, just how narrow-minded we could be. But you have the returning characters. Norman Reedus as Sam's good. Leah Seydoux as Fragile is fantastic. You have, Guillermo del Toro comes in, even though he's just doing body cameras. Dead Man, then you have Hardman, and then Hartman, and then you have new characters. You have the pizza guy, pizza chef. I can't spoil on, but he has my favorite things. And then you have Neil, or you know how there was Cliffhanger last year or last game and all that stuff, and how that was probably good, impactful. This is good. It ties in a lot to one prior to one, and that's as much legway as I'm going to give you because I thought it was going to be a very forward story. It's called On the Beach, and you wonder about the beach and all that stuff. And I would tell you, and anybody who hasn't ventured into it, not everybody's going to immediately. If you do play, perhaps you want to get some little wiki info, or just rewatch some stuff because there was some stuff I have forgotten, even though I only played it 2-3 years ago. But it was beautiful. It was emotional. Kojima has this ability to use, music as a gateway to the next scene as you carry on to a mission. They used Low Roar a lot, whose lead singer died of, either pneumonia or something. Please forgive me for that. Rest in peace to him. But it really contributed. Other musicians and artists as well, which really kind of gave the scene. The mountains are still the mountains, man. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. But the thing is, if you have the right kind of vehicles, and what you love so much about this game is that there's other people playing it, and they might leave you some behind. And I traveled, no shit, 3, with the same off-road tri-cruiser the minute I got it, hour 2.
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right, so I made my own perfect stuff. And I will say this, there's so much I could say. And I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. The gameplay is better. I think I appreciate one story more just because of certain things, but I absolutely love 2 story because when I got to the ending, I kept rewatching scenes. After I was done, certain little things that was on to 2, and I even revisit back to 1. And unlike the first game, which it felt slightly anticlimactic with Higgs. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because conventional boss battle and then beach. Once you get to chapters 11 or 10 on, to quote Jacob Fatu, a man who, because I was so drunk I bought a $48 shirt off WWE.com, it was all gas, no brakes from 10 on. And it had similar emotions that resonated. And it's one of those games where I was taking so many screenshots and video captures because I wanted to enjoy that. And it was just a beautiful experience because it's like I don't even want to just see it on my, phone. I want to see it on TV, put on my own. When I revisit on those nights where I can't sleep, I want to see what stuff I want to delete from my PlayStation. It was, and I'm conflicted because I thought nothing was going to be Astrobot. Even Death Stranding 2, knowing that Death Stranding 2 was on the horizon, and it's got me, all pun intended, I'm really doing it on purpose, it's got me on the beach, man, because I think I got it where I think it's that one. And I was playing a little bit of Astrobot today because I forgot the Void missions came out in June, so I'm like, oh, hell yeah, let's go do this. And it's still an adorable game, still fantastic, still amazing. But there's something where, and when you have a good story, I think really could even deliver, where you're white knuckled, watching something happen, or you have a moment without it being a spoiler where you're like, God damn it, and that's literally how I said it, right? And that's beautiful because when I feel video games today are hokey, if that makes sense. I think it tries so hard to be art that it forgets to be art. The same way how television shows try to be satire and they're, not understanding that they're actually part of they're going against the grind of satire as opposed to succeeding what they intended. We all want to be satirical, right? Everything we want to do wants to demonstrate art. I think he knows what he wants to do with it and allows it to be that medium. And then there's a part of me that looks at it and like, all right, would I want to see a third one? Yeah. Would I not want to see a third one? No, because he did pull a Kojima. and this is just a taste for you. The Kojima is like sometimes he'll give you something and you'll play it, and then you're like, all right, I'm here for the experience, but not for the overall arc that I need to revisit it, if it makes sense. Like we never need to replay Phantom Pain. You know what I mean? Because Phantom Pain is that game where it's like, all right, we got through the experience, we did everything going from there, and they're like, okay, so what, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a juxtaposition, but the journey, the way he utilizes the medium, it's not going to be a 10. And listen, I think sometimes we care too much about the 10s because we're so internet cultured where everything's got to be perfect. I got to have 9.5. I have Astrobot 9.5. I have to really revisit it. And I'm like, and I'm going to discuss this in the gaming component when I'm done with my non-sponsor, where I have to, this might be, if two games land properly, one being Donkey Kong, which I enjoy, it's definitely a 9. I can't give it a 9. You know where games are going to take you. So I know Troy Baker does an excellent job as Higgs. Just say, like, there's Pizza Chef. There's that. But if Donkey Kong lands and then Ghost of Yotai or Yote lands, and I forgot that was coming out, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And if it lands, this might be my best gaming year yet, despite being so limited. It's not limited. I'm still playing like 13 games, man. Like it's still me, but you know what I mean. So that is my non-sponsor. Finally able to do it, even though I knew it was gonna be my non-sponsor within the first week of playing it. We know the rules.
Yeah.
You know, we don't non-sponsor games until we beat them. We don't fuck with tradition. For Death Stranding 2, play it. When it comes to PC, play it. I will loan you mine if you sister will borrow her PS5 for a long period of time. I don't care. I want you to enjoy it if I go over there. Promo code Pizza Chef. I love that little side.
Okay. Yeah.
All folks who not like pizza deserve to die. That's all I'm saying. I do not mean that in any way, shape, or form. In reality, it is a quote from a game. I have to just say that in my status in life.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to assume it'll come out probably next year.
Yeah, I'm guessing like
for PC so I'll probably maybe for the holidays or something like that. So that'll be fine for me, and obviously, I'll go through it, and then I'll go through the emotions that you were going through, apparently. So
I don't like feeling emotions either. As lawyers, even though I'm like a hack of a lawyer these days because I'm retired essentially, you know, you don't like things that make you thought provoking. And then the jokes that I cannot make on the show that I was making in the chat, but it's just beautiful. And I think you kind of need that for all the dumb fun that you need for, like, you know, organ donator or whatever you were playing, simulator. You get something like that, and you're like, okay, man, this is good, because you're putting money into it too. And when we put money into something, don't we want it to be worth our time? And it's all got to mean something at the end of the day.
Yeah, man, just you were talking about whether what can be a 10, like at this point, what's like a 10 after so many years of playing video games.
Yeah.
Right. Like it has to be such a profound experience where you legitimately believe you're living in that world. And that's kind of what we went through with Tears of the Kingdom, where I really felt like I was in Hyrule.
And it did have a good story.
Yeah, right. Obviously bringing back a classic villain to kind of bring it all together.
Trash.
Right, because you had Ganon, but it wasn't Ganondorf, right? It was just kind of the beast that came out of him, but not the guy himself. And then when you got to the guy himself, it's like, oh, all right. And and obviously that's down the line for Hyrule Warriors. So I'm hoping we can get a little more exposition, even though I know it's kind of like a canon but / non-canon game at the same time.
I don't know, because with Age of Calamity, it was right on the money of actually what it was going to be.
Yeah, up to the point where they had the time traveling, right? Up to the point where they had the time traveling, it was like, okay, this is for the most part what happened before all the bad stuff happened, and I'm going to assume.
And what happens is they pulled a Kojima and they said, hey, we're going to show you a little bit of our hand because we're going to have other stuff to show you that you're just going to crap yourself on.
Right, and it's basically like, oh, this is an alternate ending. If right, like you could treat it that way. Like half of the game's like canon, the other half it's like, okay, this is the fantasy where everything went well, right? and then the same thing might be with the second one. But obviously, Metroid Prime 4, which will never come out.
It feels like that, right?
Right, because we're in September now, and we don't have a fixed date at all.
Yeah, we were saying August.
Right, we don't have a fixed date at all, and Metroid seemed like a game that which like probably should have came out in October, just because it's part of spooky season, right? Metroid, kind of like the Alien franchise. That seemed like the perfect opportunity for that, but it looks like I'm going to be playing Bayonetta through October instead.
Yay!
So I mean, you went through 3, right? You got to play Origins.
Yeah, I did 3.
Yeah, you got to play Origins,
Yeah,
and I have
I gotta play
Origins because you
Origins.
gave me Origins, and so I might do the back-to-back with those 2 games, just kind of
They're
complete.
short games, man.
Yeah, complete the circle. Yeah, they're just action games, right? Action beat 'em ups. So go through that and maybe an actual spooky game because I've got what are the? I have like Amnesia.
I have to be a samurai, but if it's Halloween season, nothing like a white Hispanic that's dressed up like Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Cultural appropriation that everybody likes to do for some damn reason.
So
But
1 hour in, I'll do my non-sponsor. Didn't think this would happen, but it's something that I've just been. I binged over the last few weeks because it was just something that I enjoyed as a kid, even though I didn't really know what I was enjoying.
You watch TV?
I watched Paramount Plus because my sister got it. I don't know what plan she got or anything like that with what package, but she got Paramount Plus. So
Paramount Plus is relatively cheap. Just saying.
Right.
You can get like the one with Showtime because I have to do it for Dexter because I heard Resurrection's really good. I'm ready to get hurt again. You know what I mean? Like every time. He's an abusive boyfriend.
And so we got Paramount Plus, and there's some stuff there. I haven't watched the Knuckles series, which I know it's kind of mediocre from what I've saw reviews, but I'm a Sonic fan, so I'm used to that.
I watched one episode, dude.
Yeah, but I'm a Sonic fan. I've been able to stomach. I watched the Sonic Boom cartoon. I'll be fine.
Hey, you know what? Sonic Boom is fine. You go to sleep too.
Yeah. So I'll watch the Knuckles cartoon. I rewatched some bits of Sonic 3 on there because I have it, right? And obviously with the widescreen TV monitor, I don't know, I haven't even really tried it to see if we have the widescreen version of that because I did it with the Batman when we got HBO Max. But TV series, Taxi.
Oh man.
So that's what I watched over the course of the last couple weeks, actually. Taxi, 1978 television series. It's on Paramount Plus, and I watched this on Nickelodeon, Nick at Night, as a kid with my sister. Like it was on TV. We would stay up. I mean, we only had a Sega Genesis, right? And so there's stuff on TV. Okay, well, I'll watch this. I had no idea what I was really watching because I was a kid, but I remembered bits and pieces of it here and there. Danny DeVito as one of the dispatchers. It's a Sunshine Cab Company, a group of cabbies, and just the stories around them, and it surprisingly holds up pretty well, even in 2025. Obviously, you're going to see some ancient concepts like a payphone and well, taxis in general, right? But overall,
the pre-Uber lifting kids.
Right. Overall, the cast is pretty solid. You had Tony Danza, you had Mary Lou Hanner, you had Judd Hirsch, you had Andy Kaufman, and you had Danny DeVito as the mainstays throughout all 5 seasons. All right, they had a few special guests here and there, not too many, but
it was like the pre-Cheers vibe before Cheers.
True. I mean, Ted Danson actually shows up in the series as a gay hairstylist. Actually, pretty surprising. And also Carla from Cheers also shows up.
That's his wife.
Yeah, that's his literal wife,
Or
right?
was.
No, still no. They're married. They are still
they're
married.
still married?
They're both still alive. So yeah, they because they were on Always Sunny as well, and they did the live action version of the Nightman. The Nightman
Yes.
Cometh. Yeah, so she was she did the live action version that they did in the theater. So Danny DeVito and gosh, what's her name? Rhea Perlman. There you go.
Yeah.
Still going strong. So
we are old, man. Jesus.
yeah, Christopher Lloyd also in the series. He kind of became a regular at midway through season 2.
Didn't Tony Shalhoub pop on? Or am I thinking that with Wings?
No.
Well, I know Tony was on Wings, but
No, Tony Shalhoub did not show up in this series. Who else showed up in this series that was just like, oh, they popped up? I can't remember. Tom Selleck showed up for a special episode, but he was already Tom Selleck by that point, right? Yeah. So just New York in the late 70s and early 80s, still kind of gritty, still kind of dangerous to go outside, for the most part.
Post Summer Sam kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Tony Danza wearing his New York Yankees gear pretty much every episode, and mentioning all the teams. And I don't know, it was just a nice vibe. I really enjoyed the series as a whole. I do recommend it. Carol Kane also is in the series as well. So she showed up as Andy Kaufman's wife, Laka's wife, towards the last couple seasons there. And I'm kind of glad it only lasted 5 seasons. It was 100 and something episodes, so 5 seasons back then was 100 something episodes.
Kids, you guys don't understand.
Yeah, we didn't have any of these 10 episodes for one season every other year, like just getting drip fed by South Park and the Sunny and all these other things, right? Unfortunately,
there was a time when South Park would at least give us 15 episodes.
Right. Season. Yeah. Now they kind of just give us 5. I haven't really watched South Park for this season, but I really enjoyed Taxi. Let's see, what's a promo code for this? I wonder what I could. Which one is thank you very much. There you go. That's it.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Dead Laka.
That's like the biggest tagline came from it.
Yeah. So, Taxi. 5 seasons. Go watch it, Paramount Plus. All right. So, we're an hour and 7, Charles. Let's pop on the penny train and see how fast we can do this. It is, let's see, 9:10 right now.
Well, we're not doing Cage because I'm kind of like semi-broken up.
Yeah, you kind of have a relationship.
AJ Lee came back. There you go.
Yeah, I did see that.
CM Punk's wife came back.
Yeah, I did see that.
CM Punk's wife came back. I watched Clash at the Castle. It was okay. AEW, there's some cool stuff that's coming into it. Sort of can make me looking at PS5 travel cases. It's not deserving of the precious time that we have. I'll get to you guys eventually. Don't worry.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, let's go here.
Did you actually watch football as we're venturing petty?
Well, I remember I told you I made that Dolphins account. But I did watch some football. Obviously, I didn't really watch the Alabama FSU game for the most part. I actually went to sleep on my niece's bed because I was just tired and I'm old now and I just take naps. So because I was fixing up her computer and then whatever, and then I just kind of fell asleep. But the Noles won. I woke up just in time for them to win, so that was great. And then I didn't watch the second game because who's going to watch the second game against a cupcake team? Nobody takes that seriously unless you're the
SEC, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I did watch football, the NFL. So let's hop on the petty train. NFL Week 1. I didn't watch any of the games on Thursday Night Football or Friday Night Football in Brazil.
I watched part of one.
I did a little bit of one with the Cowboys and Eagles.
Yeah, I just wanted to see it. You know, like I like
the fights at the beginning were fun. The spitting in the face.
Yeah, I like the fights at the beginning. And what I want people to know, if you do not know, if you have not figured it out after almost 7 years, I'm a hater. And one of my things of being a hater is not hating on a team, but hating against the people that y'all hate. I guess I'm thriving off of that. And I'll hate the Cowboys because I hate Jerry Jones. He's racist. I don't care what anyone says. But I'll hate on people who hate on the Eagles because I don't see why you hate the Eagles. You know what I mean? Unless you're a division rival. It's the same way of how people hate like the Kansas City Chiefs because they don't like Taylor Swift. I'm going to call them out on it any day of the week. But yeah, so I watched a good portion and then came like the third quarter. I'm like, well, I was at Twin Peaks. I'm eating food. I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. That was it. I'm like, I had to be up early in the morning. Dad's birthday was next day. We're not doing that.
So yeah, I didn't really watch. So Cowboys Eagles won, right? So yeah, that I didn't watch the Brazil game. Chargers won. People were happy for that. But I did watch one game, Charles. So I watched the Dolphins and Colts. Let's get this one out of the way. I started the Dolphins historian account. Thought, you know what? Why not? Let's do this. I don't have any expectations for this team, anyways. I had them going 8-9 for the entire season, which would put them basically where they are now. As far as mediocrity is concerned, not bad enough to be getting any good draft picks, not good enough to actually do something. And yeah, and then so Dolphins come out. They're facing the Colts. Jim Irsay's dead. They're doing a whole thing with all the stars and the old guys, Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, and all those guys come over to pay their respects. And then you had the Dolphins coming in. They had and it's like, oh, whatever, and they got some injuries and all this stuff, and the secondary is awful. But hey, that's the Dolphins. And the Colts were not great last season. It's like, okay, fine. And then you got Daniel Jones on the other side, and who's going to think Daniel Jones is going to be a good quarterback? Well, he's outside of the New York Giants, so he might actually be good, right? So
yeah, you know how it's like a drug dealer finds Jesus, and he's actually a good guy at the end. That's literally what happened.
Yeah, basically. So that's what happened with this game, because the Indianapolis Colts scored on all 7 of their drives. So every time they had the ball, for like the first time this century, a team has done that. The Dolphins gave up points on every time they got the ball. And Tua Tagovailoa had an interception, and I orgasmed, and I sent that to Charles. Then he had a fumble. Then I had a second one, and I sent that to Charles. And then he had a third one. And then that's when the roof came off of my house here. So I was
Sorry.
So
y'all think I'm the unstable one.
Yeah.
I'm the Dennis of the group, and that's fine. Sometimes I'm the Charlie. What this man is the D. He is just as buckwada as I am.
It's funny, but it is exactly the way I have truly pictured this Miami Dolphins team culminated into one game. It's all facade. It's all fake. Mike McDaniel is a fraud. Tua Tagovailoa is also a fraud. Everything about this team, Tyreek Hill is a horrible human being who should not be on the football field.
Y'all don't care because he catches the ball.
Well, I actually cared because you've known this, that I've not liked this man being on this team from
also
before.
Knowing me, what I was doing
exactly
for so long.
So, and hopefully that's coming finally, maybe gonna actually result in some actual consequences for the man, because he's kind of been skirting by for the most part.
Well, the lawyer in me says allegations are allegations.
I understand.
The realist in me says that's a BS.
Yeah, but in any case, Dolphins couldn't establish a run game because Mike McDaniel can't plan one. And Tua Tagovailoa, Xavier Howard was on the other side with the Colts, and he had his revenge game, and he let out all the secrets with regards to the Dolphins, saying that if Tua can't get anything on the first read, he panics and can't do anything, and that's exactly what happened. So,
isn't Xavier Howard the weirdo who sent a little kid, or not maybe a little kid, maybe a teenager, naked pics up the kid's mom because he was talking smack to him?
I don't know. Xavier Howard?
I think that was the controversy, my God.
Is it him or Jalen Ramsey? I'm not sure.
No, Jalen's always kind of been an outstanding guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Panthers fan, so he's good. But yeah, regardless, it was...
Sent explicit content to X's son. Man,
oh, okay, so he actually did that. All right, then. Yeah. So...
well, that's weird.
Regardless, the Dolphins lost, and it validated everything. I set up this Dolphins account because I for the most part don't follow anything Dolphins, and I'll mute anything Dolphins on my other 2 accounts. And this one I actually kind of was able to bathe in it, bathe in all the disappointment and the sadness all the pregame, like, oh, it's week 1, baby, let's go Dolphins, I can't wait, man, it's so many days without football, right? And then this happens, and I'm just like, y'all waited all these months for this, just for the same thing. You could have celebrated the Stanley Cup. You could have celebrated the Marlins getting to 500. I don't know. Mickey Harrison made the Hall of Fame. We haven't gotten to that. But
do owners even make the Hall of Fame? I say no. You bought a team. You spent money. Did you go and play when Chris Bosh had a blood clots? Were you out there in 2020 when Goran was like, all right, did you give Goran your knee? Give him a single bit like a cadaver. I'm still petty on Mickey.
Did you do what you need to do? Keep Jimmy. Anyways.
Well, I'm split on that too because I'm petty and sometimes I'm the F you, F me, no, F you guy.
But in any case, this Dolphins game, it valid, and once again, and I've been validated so many times already. This is the first time that's happened, but this is the first time it's happened in week 1.
Well, because I think people told you, petty train control here, the worst thing you could do to a fan is tell a fan to be patient or that they're acting irascible. You know what I mean? And I think that's literally kind of what you were getting that short end of the stick with McDaniel, because I'm like, all right, like, what's the appeal of McDaniel when he first came in? Part of me is like, all right, is he just kooky? Is he weird? It was different than Flores, sure, and that was an appeal to a degree. Flores, I could say also got blackballed because he's doing some really good work in Minnesota right now. Is he going to get title or not title, but another coaching job? Probably not. Right. Point being is that McDaniel was different. He was new, fresh. We overplay offense so much. It's like it's going to be the answer all our players because it's every time we get offensive genius, things change. And then what happens? They do great, and then Tua gets hurt in that playoff series, and then you get what? It was Skylar Thompson who had a start, so you get the pass there. And then the next gig that comes in is then Tua's actually in the playoffs, and then they just get walloped by Kansas City, and Vic Fangio is the
scapegoat. The fall guy.
Scapegoat.
And then he wins the Super Bowl.
Vic Fangio, of all people.
Yeah.
The only thing that Vic Fangio should have been a scapegoat for is just never being a head coach. And people put too much onus on that sometimes, as if there's not some great coordinators or assistant coaches that are just as deserving. What do you think Ron Rivera was, right? He came from that same brain trust, if memory serves me correctly, from the, what's his name? Now I can't picture, now I don't know his name, the Bill Coward, right?
Yeah.
I think he was originally from that brain tree of coaching. If I'm not, I know he was at some point, so maybe one of the Sharks. The point being, but he's not the scapegoat. And then you get this game, and what I hate about having Paramount Plus and living in South Florida, I can never not have to see the Dolphins on my damn screen. They're always there, and they do not play enjoyable football for me to actually want to watch. I don't think I've ever, and I'll watch football. At my age, I don't watch a full thing. What I do is I kind of fraction out unless it's my own team, or if it's like a game I really want to see, I'll usually give you a quarter or a half quarter. So thankfully, they're already blown out in the first quarter, and I didn't have to really watch anything. But they play such a very Mike McDaniel's offense plays very much coordinated to a hey, we don't believe in balance. Everything we're doing it feels like he's got a betting habit, and everything's fantasy football points, and that's the reason why he had to put the onus on Tua, and the onus on Tyreek, and the onus on Jaden, as opposed to just having a schemed, balanced offense. And they don't really draft well either.
Nope.
And their defense, who they spent 3 of the first round picks on, or 3 of the first picks in the draft on, didn't do anything. So it's just not enjoyable. And I wasn't really a Tua guy to begin with, because I don't think he was really that impressive at Bama, because I was coming from the day when Nick Saban doesn't create good quarterbacks. Devin Shea, because I saw them play live, and when you see things live over TV, you just know it's the bullshit detector, right? 5. It's the bullshit detector. 6. You just smell it. And you haven't gone to a Dolphins game forever, right? I had to see them lose.
I went last year.
Backup. Did you? Yeah.
Remember the Titans game?
Yeah, it was us. So I was just because you left early. I stayed throughout the whole game.
Yeah, because you guys were winning and it was fun.
Yeah, of course. But that's the whole thing. Remember, Levis got hurt, so Mason Rudolph is engineering wins. So the point being is when you see it live, oh yeah, you can smell bitch any day. Six.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like it was in McDaniel where he's cool, he's goofy, he's coming from what the Kyle Shanahan tree, which everybody wants to tell you is a Bill Walsh tree, and then Kit, yeah, he has a 1, right? He's got a 2, but he has a 1, so okay. But also, so did what's his name from not Cleveland, but the Bills, who went like 4 years in a row. It's gonna come back to me in a heartbeat because I wasn't bringing up that in the past, right? You know, Doug Levy. There you go. My brain still works. All you kids who are listening here are probably like, who the hell is these guys that he's mentioning? Ron Rivera, blah, blah, blah. The point being, or Bill Levy, yeah, Doug Flutie was also on that team. The point being is that he just want to be cool and be from this tree that everybody was under and all this other jazz and hasn't really amounted nothing. And then one of my buddies asked me, says, how long do you think it is before he gets fired? I'm like, I think he actually survives the season. But go ahead. Your turn.
Yeah, alrighty. Well, I'm done with that. That's it. That's all my notes. Yeah, Steelers, Jets.
So I'm gonna take this one.
Yeah.
For like 6 years,
Mm-hmm.
like 7 really. We've been on for a while, which is impressive. For like 7 years, I've been on the anti-Rodgers train, and originally started with the guys. I just don't see it, you know. And that was the thing. It was neutral. It wasn't political. It wasn't anything. And then Rodgers then decided to want to become a sphere of influence by putting his COVID stuff out there or his vaccine out there. And we try. I don't know. Andrew's the one who was like, "Hey, don't be dicey on like your beliefs and stuff like that," because blah blah blah. But he also had aspirations, and I kept it control. But I always felt the problem with these people, regardless of what Charles Barkley said or didn't say, is that they're viewed sports people. Media now they didn't have as much control back the way, but players, everything like that, owners and coaches, they have a lot of influence on the perceptions of people. So you got Homie doing his ayahuasca and lying, saying he's being immunized. It's not just standing around saying, "Hey, I'm not this," and you know that's it's a moot issue, except for the fact that like they can have such influence to where it could lead to people becoming local, you know, current politicians and presidents. What am I saying? You know what I'm saying. And so that's when I was like, all right, now everybody was starting to agree with me about the hate for it. But my heart has not softened. I never forget and I never forgive. I just get wise. And sometimes I see big picture. And it was him versus the Jets. Aaron Rodgers with the Steelers against the Jets. And people are like, all right, Charles, you're going to see Aaron. He's going to do bad. I'm like, actually, I don't think that's fun. Because I know this is the end of the game. Mm-hmm. He's got 1 year left. Do you think he wants to be? I don't know him. And that's the one thing I actually do appreciate about him. If there's anything, he just goes and says, "Y'all don't know me," and I respect that. Point being is that, you know, it feels like it's the end. So he got his 500 touchdown last year. All right, just go around. You're going to be on the Mike Tomlin Steelers, who have a great way of just being good, despite they have a crappy team and slightly overrated. I don't see the prize with TJ Watt, whatever. But it was him versus the Jets, and sometimes, man, you have to just weigh it of what it is worth the price of salt, and then sometimes you have to pick the enemy of my enemy as my friend. And I asked myself, have I disliked Aaron Rodgers longer than I disliked the New York Jets? And I can give you a plethora of reasons why I dislike the New York Jets without even saying that I'm a Dolphins or Bills or Patriots fan. But I think their owner sucks. I think Woody Johnson's a clown, you know, for all the reasons. If you just figured me out in a heartbeat, if you know me.
There's plenty of articles. There's plenty of articles.
Yeah, there's plenty. Just a plethora of it. But it was just the mismanagement and the disrespect of Aaron Glenn, who I don't know. No one owes me anything in this life to figure out explanations and rationales, reasons. And I don't really care. How about that? If no one cares for facts, I don't care for facts, right? But like you heard the whole thing about the exit interview, and they're just going to say, "Hey, we don't want you as their." They're just also always a dysfunctional organization. Now, I'm more annoyed by the Jets' existence. We make the joke each time about like, hey, if this was a certain, you know, team that we had to dissolve a franchise, this would be it. The Jets are up there. It's just the only reason why we just can't seem to get rid of them is because it's New York, right? You have 2 other teams. You could keep the Giants, and the Bills possibly could win a Super Bowl this year. Keep them. Get rid of the Jets. They're so dysfunctional. And I like Justin Fields, actually. I actually like Justin Fields. This is not an indictment to him, to Garrett Wilson, or anybody else. It's just they're always so dysfunctional. And this was like the one season where they're low level, but I'm sick about it. So I feel like Gabe from The Office, when Andy's talking about the sun, he's like, shut up about the sun. And you know what? Shut up about the sun. part of the reason why too I just can't stand the Jets is because I always have to see them in popular media entertainment because all you seem to hire on ESPN and all the other sports radios is people from New York who are, and I'm from New York, right? Lived for a decent portion of my life. You always just seem to hire a Jets fan or a Giants fan. Stephen A. Smith, Mike Greenberg, Golick maybe? I don't know. I can't, man. They're just a terrible franchise. So he was able to do what I appreciate the most in the petty. He gave them hope that they were going to win, and then he broke their heart and they won on a field goal. What a great way to be petty. And you know what? As a petty king, respect Aaron. And I hope he does well in his final bits. That's my very long rant. I think it maybe took you by surprise when I said I'm not even going to hate on the guy this year.
Yeah, very surprised. It'll be an interesting turn for this season. All right, Panthers and Jaguars.
And then watch him not retire, and then I just get angry. I'm like, damn it!
Panthers and Jaguars. Depends. All right.
No one cares.
Cardinals and Saints. Yeah.
My poor buddy's a Saints fan, and he is just enduring hell. And I'm like, how do you not even at least try to get a competent? And like, I don't know if Spencer Rattler is good or bad, but I saw some of that tape last year because I'll watch the teams and support the teams my friends like. Right? I don't care. I'm an adult, right? It's fine. Ooh, that's bad, man. I don't even remember him with his college, like in between, and then like Tyler Shaw, and I'm like, all right, all this stuff. I just feel bad. And then someone made a joke that I was in tears. I hate to kind of like bring it up, but the way that Kyler Murray was coming out, someone called him like a human labubu, and I was just done. I was just done because I saw Tyler. Actually, Kyler Murray is real tall. He's 5'10". I am 5'7" on a good day. I don't even wear like dress shoes anymore. So I give him that respect. But my man's coming out like that. The internet is savage. And also, the internet is savage at Travis Hunter. Because the Michelangelo meme with his new shaved head.
That's great. I mean, he should lean into it. He really should.
Lean into it, man. Everybody loves Mikey. Everybody loves the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's all I had to make those two commentaries on
that. Let's see. Giants and Washington Commanders.
Boo. I don't care about the Giants.
All right, Bucks and Falcons.
And part of me, I feel bad for Bucks and Falcons. Good for Tampa. I mean, Tampa's kind of like my secondary team, and I want Andrew to be on because I had actually a real segment that says it's okay to have multiple teams in a sport. And my opinion is like it depends on the sport, but you can to a certain degree. I've always been kind of like a pseudo proponent of that. You just have to have it not be in the same like conference. But yeah, but I also lived in Polk County, dude. Like, what do you think I was doing, right?
Yeah, right.
Like I was there. I came to football late in life, but I was stuck with some of those Brad Johnson, Tony Dungy stuff coming into it. It's just y'all know my backstory of why I got into Tennessee. But the point, yeah, good. That was a good game. I like Baker too because it is totally amazing that you are a quarterback for the Browns and you end up being much better because you're no longer the Browns.
Right.
Who that just dissolve them. You already got rid of them once. You don't need them again. Terrible.
Cincinnati. Oh, Cleveland. Here we go. 17-16. Sure. Cincinnati wins. Probably an awful game. Let's see. Vegas and New England. Patriots lost. Raiders win.
Let me jump on that train real quickly. I legitimately don't care about the Raiders. That's another franchise I hate so much because you kids were not alive with Al Davis and his pure idiocy of like always need speed. The Raiders, baby. I don't care about the Raiders. And the way you make it sound like the Raiders makes it seem like that you think a good date is going to like racetrack and doing some meth. And I'm not here to judge you, but I'm telling you, like, we ain't about that stuff, right? But what do we know about me? I hate Mike Vrabel. We all know the reasons why I hate Mike Vrabel. I don't need to revisit that wound. I won't revisit that wound. But I could not live with knowing that my team was going to lose, which we did, and having him win. So thank you, Pete Carroll. I died. Thank you, Pete Carroll. Thank you, Geno Smith, Ashton Gentry. You are overrated. For breaking Mike Vrabel's hearts. Because New England fans, I met a guy at Twin Peaks. We were talking a little bit as we were waiting in line. And he was like, well, how do you feel? And I'm like, well, how do you feel about Vrabel? Because I'm telling him, like, be prepared for a very, like, monolithic kind of style of offense where it's his way and the highway. And then you're also stuck with Josh McDaniels, and you're not going to see the progression that you actually want. Yeah, I know the Titans have scored very well. Sometimes a broken clock is right twice a day. That's all I'm going to say to that portion.
And hopefully
But
that clock
I don't.
gets right next week because they played the Dolphins. So
Yeah, right. But I don't want Vrabel to succeed, and it's not even me being petty because I feel like there was a turning point where he went from being like a mad genius or like a legitimately great coach to being just a guy who is unyielding. And look, I'll put a lot of blame onto Robinson for the AJ Brown trade.
Yeah.
And I'm not even putting anything on Vrabel for that, but Vrabel was exhausting, man. And I'm just glad they lost. Fuck them. 8.
Okay, San Francisco and Seattle.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody's just hurt on that team. I don't know how that happens. I just don't like people getting injured, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, damn.
All right, Denver and Tennessee, your team.
So my buddy is a shout out to you, Sheldon, and then Afro. They are Tennessee fans, and not Tennessee, but Denver fans. I'm playing dog guys. I talk, so I can't do 2 things at one time. So they won. Bo Nix looked bad. Our defense looks stellar. If you're going to make that team look, fair. I like the tape I saw on Cam Ward, and yes, I did watch a lot of it. It is the same issue, and we have a new GM, Mike Borgzingi. Remember, we fired Ryan Catton. The same issues are there where, we drafted wide receivers, and that's fine. You know what the problem is with drafting wide receivers is, though, my guy? They're not proven commodities, and what we drafted was Chimere Deke from Florida, and then Alec Alomar from Stanford, who may look like to have some potential. But our biggest veteran free agent that we thought was going to be efficient in helping a quarterback, whether it be, Cam or Will, depending who was going to start, was Tyler Lockett. Yeah. Who was at the end of his run. Yeah. And Dan Moore doesn't seem to pan out. We left 6 sacks. But my thing is, I didn't think Callahan was the guy that we should have hired anyway to begin with. And, he missed out on challenging a catch by Alomar. That was the elbow was down, wasn't out of bounds, and he was just totally, boneheaded onto it. So, look, we're going to be the worst of the second worst team this year, and I'm okay with that. I am – what I love about my football teams, man, I am objective as hell. There's never a point where I've gone in our chat that I go and say, oh, man, I'm feeling kind of hopeful. Not even with the Miami, when the Canes are always kind of there, because I'm like, I know Mario Cristobal's an idiot. Right, I was like, all right, hold on. Or Rick, I was like, all right, hold on. There might be something going on here. I just have to believe in it. But you're going through the progressions. I survived 2 back-to-back 2-14 seasons. So, ain't nothing going to break my spirit, right? Ain't nothing going to break me down. That kind of song. But it is in between, I don't know, progress, but all I have to say is, whether we keep Callahan or not, I cannot endure doing this for 3 to 4 years and having to draft another quarterback. I can't be the Giants, man. I can't be the Giants. Look, they gave up on Daniel Jones, and even though I know Jones is bad, he got them to the playoffs and stuff like that. And you can say it was Saquon, but he got you to the playoffs and all this fun jazz. And you went with Jackson Dart, and then you don't start Dart. And the thing is, there's nothing to say that Dart's the guy at the end of the day. I think that's what's exhausting. I think that's what you lose fan base on. And some people are like, oh, fire the owners. I'm like, yeah, you could do that. But I'm also of the opinion that it's just too exhausting. And that's where, I take it. But we just have to kind of see where it takes us. But I liked what Cam did under pressure. But we're going to be bad for a long time. And that's okay, because out of all my sports, it's football, and I can easily, because I have never been around where we actually had a sustainability of greatness. So I don't know what the standard to hold is. With football, man, I'm taking up a little bit of time on it, but I don't think I've had this kind of rant before, so I'm going to take it. I've never had to worry about being anything but the underdog and my fandom being a fan of a title, right? At all.
Yeah.
We've only been to, my time being a fan, 1 or 2 AFC championships. When they were in the Super Bowl, I was just an 8-year-old kid at Beef O'Brady's. That's how good my number is sometimes. I live in Polk County, right? So, that 1 AFC championship, I think, was my only exposure in real time about being a casual fan. So, I'm perfectly fine with it being the underdog. When it comes to all those other sports, fandoms.
Mm-hmm.
I unfortunately have a higher standard of desire and want that makes me just cry every time. And I hate you, Aaron Boone. I hate you so much. All right, that's my only rant on that.
All right. Green Bay and Detroit. I did watch a little bit of that as well.
Ass whooping.
Yeah. And because
it's one game though. Why people?
Yeah.
You have 17 games this season. Shut the hell up.
It's one game.
They lost their.
Yeah, it's one game.
I'm gonna lose 16 games this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shut the hell up, Detroit.
Yeah, and well, I'm going to be riding the Lions this season as my actual team that I hope actually does something this year. So I'll whatever, it doesn't matter. So that's why I watched a little bit of that game as well. The Rams and Texans. I mean, Matt Stafford did some stuff, and I guess just enough.
I like him. I like him though.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Baltimore and Buffalo.
That was so good.
Yeah.
But like, it's the John Harbaugh special that I've kind of been bringing up for a couple of years. So
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to.
I mean, I like the memes where
hands off
everybody.
for humans.
The memes online were pretty funny. It was just like that guy shooting really fast.
Yeah. They're just doing training day.
Yeah.
Be like, all right.
So yeah.
But it was a good game. That's the stuff that you want to watch. If you're gonna make it a Sunday night game and it's not blow, I'm happy because when you think about it, like the big primetime games kind of are ass.
The and well, my trainer is a Ravens fan, so he's like, this happens all the time.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is John Harbaugh. This is just the way it is. I'm like, yeah, it is. Actually, you guys did it against the Dolphins like a couple years ago too. So just the way it happens for Baltimore. And then Minnesota and Chicago yesterday, and everybody's kind of writing the Vikings off until the Bears were the Bears. So there you go.
And that's the problem where I have this theory, and because you can tell when it's all conjecture, because I was told by every analyst on Twitter and whatnot that getting Ben Johnson was going to change things. And then that because he's this guy and that guy. And then I was also told that getting this person is going to change things. Go from there. I've changed the entire Donkey Kong and Paul Lane right now because of the S thing. I hear all this stuff, but then I realize every time it comes in, the concept, and this is how I feel about McDaniel LaFleur, so this is proper, it's all just a crapshoot. When you talk to me about schemes, how they worked better, and all this other jazz, because no one wants to tell you the ugly truth about coaching hires and new draft people and stuff like that. You cannot compare a banana to an apple because they're still a fruit, right?
Yeah.
Offensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. There is no red apple, yellow apple, red apple, green apple in any sport. Because when you tell me he's coming from this system with this thing, he came from a system when he had a different set of players. Even if you had players with the same skill set, it is still not the same players, not the same schedule, not the same anything. And it's really why none of this ever succeeds, and we just don't want to concede that it's a crapshoot because, Brian Dable is going to be the prime example. Did some work in Baltimore, or not Baltimore, Buffalo, looked great, stuff like that. As a coordinator, blah, 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 gets hired, and then, he's awful with the Giants. And then you look at Joe Brady, who for 1 year was, I think under Steve Wilkes, was the coordinator for the Panthers, gets just unceremoniously out, as long as Steve Wilkes did as well. Steve Wilkes should have had another season going for the Panthers, but David Tepper's an idiot of a manager or an owner, but we always let the owner slide by. Looking at you, Robert Kraft and Jerry Jones. And now Joe Brady's over in Buffalo calling plays, and look how well he's doing. So I can never buy the hype of people. And people go to me like, well, Charles, what do you want then if you fire Callahan? Because I didn't like Callahan either. Because they're like, oh, he comes from the Zach Taylor scheme. I'm like, well, Zach, the Bengals had what? Joe, Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
They had homeboy who got hurt, who now I can't, because I talked trash about him the other day. Now he's over in Houston, but the running back there. And then I think they had Jamar in the Super Bowl season. I don't remember, but they should have. You ain't getting any of that in Tennessee. Or we're getting guys who are coming off at the Dollar General night shift. They're like, hey, man, you want to play receiver? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. It's fantastic. So you can't buy into it. And, like, to me, Caleb Williams didn't play badly last year. Matt Eberflus just should have been fired the year prior. But then they go, Johnson never was there. But I will give him credit. And I say all that to become a hypocrite and go against myself. Because then I look at Kevin O'Connell, man. And I was watching that game and I fell asleep. But Kevin O'Connell has literally just worked with like 3 different. He came from the Scott McVay Brain Trust, the Brain Tree.
Yeah.
And he's literally had, here's Kirk Cousins. And then here's Sam Darnold. And now here's JJ McCarthy. And I think he just gets it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the whole point that I'm getting is that's when you know that you strike with a coach where they just get it. Where like, all right, if my offense can't get this, I'm going to try to pivot or I'm going to let things play out.
Yeah.
And what a lot of the successful coaches had and Belichick, even though he's in UNC, doesn't understand how to play college football, which is understandable. Those qualities share one thing. And it sounds hokey, but the whole thing is hokiness sometimes does exist in sports for a reason. There's 4 quarters of football to play. And that's what did well with the head coach in Buffalo, right? Now I forget his name because I'm on the spot.
Baldy. Loves Osama. Exactly, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I can't, I it's on the tip of my tongue, but because I'm actually making a poignant thought, I can't get 2 thoughts together, right? Can't make 2 nickels and get a dime, apparently, here. But, Bean. Not Brandon Bean.
McDermott. Gosh darn it.
Doug McDermott.
Sean.
Sean McDermott. Doug McDermott. Dougie McDermott is just throwing basketballs over like China right now. We need a producer. We need an off-screen guy because we have some good commentary. And then we get old. But the point being is like they just kind of get it and they understand there's 4 quarters in an entire game and you scheme and game plan for all 4 quarters whether you're winning or you're losing. And that's what was impressive about the Vikings game. That is what was impressive about the Bills game. And that was what was nothing impressive about the Dolphins game, the Colts, because why? McDaniels does not scheme for 4 quarters. Like a lot of these coaches who are especially offensive-minded lately, they scheme just to put up points. And as we saw in Buffalo, you could put up 40 points in a game and still lose. Ooh, that was some good petty trading.
It was. I mean, it's week 1. It's been it's pretty exciting. It's pretty good. And well, I guess now that I started this account, I actually have to follow football a little bit harder now. We're an hour 42. We're not going to do a cage, apparently. So I think we kind of end it here, right, Charles?
Well, I would say one thing. It's a humble pie. It's a good humble pie. It's not a humble pie against you. It's not a humble pie against me. It's a humble pie to all you crack pipe motherfuckers. 9. Because we mentioned it, and I had brought it up, and you brought it up on your own, because I have the receipts. I have them stored in a shoebox. This weekend, there was inductees into the Naismith basketball Hall of Fame.
That's right.
And there's a man that I said was a Hall of Famer, that you said was a Hall of Famer, that I did on the show saying he was a Hall of Famer, and you did your own deep dive because I think you were testing out a solo thing, or maybe it was the same thing.
Yeah, Dwight Howard.
That he was a Hall of Famer. And we had Dwight Howard. And Dwight Howard, and you know what? I hate to be the concept of gatekeeping, because gatekeeping can kind of suck, especially in sports. Looking at you, MLB writers in the Hall of Fame. But this is one of those times where there was the questions of what a defensive player in basketball looks like. And you and I remember, man, it's the back of my brain of how we had that combo where he was just, he was in the MVP voting for a center. He was mobile. He didn't have like a high post shot kind of thing, but if he was in that low post, he got you, or high post, he could dunk, whatever you do basketball terminology, right? He was always close. I think he averaged, I believe he did, not just a double-double, but I think he was over the typical 10. They came in, I was at stats in front of me. My computer's away. I just want to talk. But that is how I'm going to end it, is that congrats to Dwight Howard. You're a Hall of Famer. We believed in you.
Yes.
And anybody who was stuck in this new division of how centers ought to be and what's the craze, you need bigs who can shoot the 3 at the logo, right? And yeah, look, you're going to get a couple of them. You're gonna get your Jokic's, and then you're gonna get your pretenders like Embiid. And I'm gonna call him pretender because the guy's just not healthy. But for the probably one of the last few prototypical star center players, because Wemby's gonna kind of do his own thing if he can stay healthy. Like we have Khalil Ware, who I'm a big fan of. You know I am. I just think he needs more time to come in. He might be one of those older school, maybe not as like ground and pound or box you up because he doesn't have the meat on him yet, but he's gonna be good in that sense. But Dwight is kind of like that last burning bridge, and I know he's probably playing off somewhere in Taiwan, but he got his ring. He was like 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, which is impressive. And real stuff too, not that Rudy Gobert fake stuff.
The last great true center in the NBA.
Yeah,
right.
I can't fight it. He played for a long
like
time.
in the classical sense of what a center was.
Well, I'm trying to think because he like everything else, basketball people just play for so long. They play through so many eras, and things. He's like 36. He's my age. He's our age, but he was around since like 2002, and he was just dominating. And the thing is that But the thing is, Matt, is he was better than some of those other centers that we were relegated to because of the fact that he could score at a high production. He led a Stan Van Gundy with Jameer Nelson and Hito
Turkoglu, yep. And
he was that aura into their own.
Yeah.
I think he topped that Braun ass, man.
They beat peak Cleveland round one LeBron.
Yeah, and man, I love it when we just think of it. That because he was that main genesis. Aside from like Hito and Jameer just hitting them threes dirty when they had the chance or getting there, but his style of play, he was able to adapt it. So it was super impressive. So good on you, Dwight. Congratulations if you're listening. I don't care. Follow us, please. And congrats to you and me.
And remember we had the conversation before when they announced the NBA 2K26 cover athletes and the Legends, or actually not even the Legends edition. It's not even Legends edition. It's a Superstar edition. Was Carmelo Anthony, because he's, in my opinion, not a legend. He's not. So that's why they didn't call it Legends edition. There's a reason why.
I do love a little basketball talk, so I'm gonna jump in onto that.
I'm just saying, if
it is the Naismith the Naismith is, if it's Naismith, I believe it's called. Its entirety. It is both
the lowest
college
bar.
and
right.
And,
I get it, and it's the lowest bar of NBA. Bro. Yeah, it's the lowest bar of all the Hall of Fames, by the way. Out of all the Hall of Fames,
it's probably the most accurate though in comparison to the baseball one.
True, it's not as I guess what's snarky.
It doesn't
snooty,
its own farts.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't even sniff it. The baseball Hall of Famers, they literally they'll crap in a toilet and they're gonna be like, "Honey, come here." All they want you to do is see the biggest pile of crap,
right,
that they laid out.
Yeah.
I have so much vitriol to that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's foolish for so many reasons.
Going back to Carmelo.
Thank you for putting it.
Going back to Carmelo, yes, Hall of Famer. I consider. Yeah, you do make that point that if you're looking at the entire, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. So it takes into his college career, his international career, because he did win a couple gold medals, right? And his NBA career. I obviously heavily lean on the NBA career because you could still be snubbed for the Olympic team, and you could still be a guy that
being an MVP kind of hurts you, right?
Right,
and then be an all-star.
You have a one and done college career, and of course he won a national championship, with one and done.
He's he made Jim Boheim relevant. I said it. There we go. Okay, or Boeheim.
But when I look at him and I compare his before Dwight got his ring with the 2020 Lakers bubble, whatever, I'm looking at two different careers, and I'm just like, I would choose Dwight Howard over Carmelo Anthony if I'm building a team around him, given the like around this era of the NBA, I'm sure more people would have picked Carmelo to start a team around, but like the way Dwight Howard was still able to stay relevant across that sea change of the NBA, where they started chucking threes, because he was still within this era.
But he was also so good because he could stop the chuckers. That's the
Right.
thing.
I mean,
Like he was
massive dude.
good at switch as well.
Right.
Yeah, he was very
I mean,
good.
he was
at switch as well.
he was also one of the rare centers that was kept himself in shape as well. Because most centers are just
except
most
for the
of,
fractured bum bum.
but most of the classical centers, your Shaqs, your Patrick Ewings, and all those guys were either just like they either got really fat and just kind of broke down that way, or they were just really fragile as far as that was concerned. But Dwight Howard, for the most part, was able to keep himself healthy most of his career and was in really great shape, body-wise, where he was buff but not like toothpick thin and never got fat.
Well, that too, but like because he was so fundamentally sound on defense, it was instinct. When you have to shoot the ball, you have to hope so many things. But when you're defending the ball, you know your foot placement, your hand placement, where your body is. It was fundamental, man. Like you know, I can't. That was you guys just don't understand. 2007, 2008. That is a man right there. I would not fight Dwight Howard. You know, I wouldn't fight anybody. But you understand the sentiment of what I'm stating. About what he was. And I feel like part of the thing with Melo was that, he was on 10 All-Stars. I can't take into account fan voting, you know, on top of it. And when you talk about how do you want to die your career, you want to die the significant way, right? You want to do seppuku. You want to do the right kind of way, with some honor. He got bounced around. And ironically, in their final bits of their careers, because I have their stats up on my phone, they both played for the Lakers at the end. Whereas, like, I feel with Dwight, it was like maybe there was a partial need, and that second go around that he came back in, the third go around. Whereas with Melo, because Dwight's last game in the NBA was in 21-22, where I believe that's a year after they had won ring. Yeah, but he was there and everything. I feel like Melo, whose final game, because I got the phone, y'all making me get the receipts with Lakers 21-22, ironically, was the here, damn, just be here kind of thing. And I hate to say this, but it's going to make a lot of sense when LeBron retires and Paul retires. Carmelo Anthony, New York guy, right?
Right.
He was the Eli Manning of the NBA 2000 draft. Or the 2003 draft. He was!
Yeah.
It's appropriate. Look at everybody gave it to him. He was the Eli, except minus the rings.
Yeah.
But, Eli never gets to the Hall of Fame. So, flip the rings and all that, but that's why I think about like the impact, because the thing is, impact to the game, and maybe this would be different if I was a Knicks fan, but Knicks fans didn't even really love him at the end of the day. I loved him when he was on Denver.
I mean, Linsanity happened, they loved him more than they loved Carmelo, and then Carmelo came back and kind of ruined the vibe.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. At the end of the day, for me, and this is, Hall of Fame. Think about like Hall of Brain, right? I'll remember Dwight Howard more having an impact. And I watched enough Carmelo Anthony tape, trust me. Back when we really had the time to watch sports, man.
Yeah.
Denver.
Yeah, I mean, I still listen to some. I listen to a lot of, because I don't watch as much NBA that I would want to because of the way the Miami Heat have been and just the way the games are and that sort of sense. But I still
I'm just here to sacrifice myself for you.
I still like NBA talk. And I still like NBA basketball history, so I do watch a lot of retrospectives of things like that. So I hear you on that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I will think about it's the same way of how some people will go to me and be like, "Man, you just didn't know how good of a shooter Tony Kukoc was." I'm like,
yeah.
But seriously, right? We came into a weird generation, right? Because we were stuck in where you had real defined role players who would never become starters, and you young people at 36, I accept my age, fine gray in my beard if I have it, but I accept that change and differential. And for you and I, it is the fact that we never, we had clear defined role players, that there was someone who was a role player who was a starter, and now you just get guys who just get kind of stashed and popped up, and now the international players really what's going to screw me up, because I'm gonna have to just accept the fact that some I never knew who Luka was, right? Because I didn't have that tape of him as a kid. Ricky Rubio was my first real big entry. to international play. And for what it's worth, Ricky was actually very good. He was just limited in his scoring capabilities. And then came everything else, right? We're not talking about Andre Kirilenko here, or Xander Bogans, not Xander Bogans, but Andrew Bogans. I'm talking about like, hey, there's this weird white guy near a Serbian prison who could just chuck threes for days and break ankles. And that's like everybody now, man. Like, what? Or, Laurie Macon, who, if he came to the I'd be very happy. And that's part of the game. But when I reflect on dudes who I remember, like, date and time, what they did, what was special about them, what was their legacy, how impactful they were, and what they contributed on a winning team, on a losing team, on a team who actually won the finals. Because remember, they had to get him, right? He was near the tail end, like, all right, come back and put us. Same way with, like, JaVale McGee, right? And they got him, and they get some rings into it. And it's quite impressive. I don't get that from Carmelo. And because I didn't go to Syracuse, I didn't give a shit about, like, 10 or 9. I didn't care about Syracuse because Jim Boeheim's very much like Tom Izzo, where they can't deliver except for that one time they won something, right? It's not even that's just the way college basketball is, right? But yeah, so congrats Dwight, congrats Francisco, congrats Charles. Three-man handshake.
And even Andrew, right? Because he's a Magic tangential.
He's a Magic fan.
Yeah, Magic fan. So and I'm sure
Orlando. We are literally circle jerking to his success right now.
Orlando is probably going to retire his number because they retired Shaq's number, so they probably and both of that he left in a bad way, and I'm going to assume they'll do Dwight as well.
Well, I mean, they have to concede the fact that Stan the Man, as brilliant as a coach as he was, and he's very introspective, and I like hearing his commentary. He was a problem, and he was just one of those guys who could not ball around the time. That's why he was fired from the following job, which was it Detroit? Yeah, I think it was Detroit we got into.
I mean, Detroit had the issues in Orlando, obviously the Miami Heat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always get the Heat one because it wasn't like a scheme fit. I think the team he lost the locker room. Yeah, he lost the locker room because when dudes want to fight you, and that's what was happening. It was Stan, I'll beat you up in front of your wife, and
and then Pat had to come in. Pat had to come in and make him, hey, you're gonna resign, and you're gonna leave out here. We'll mail you a ring afterwards, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what happened.
They won the championship that season. It was a mid-season firing, and then they won.
Yeah. It was so weird because Van Gundy, like Jeff, I can never see the allures here just because he made the Knicks prominent enough. Then Mike Woodson made the Knicks prominent. Who I care about that for a bit, right? But like Stan was always special, but he was really like lightning in a bottle. Like you had to get him in the right kind of era. But he was a little bit ahead of time in Orlando because it was the idea of like, okay, do I have like 2 outside shooters and 1 big man who kind of work for a bit, and that's what led to like a lot of spacing and having one like four out, 1 in, right? And then it just went haywire after that. But Stan's always a good personality, and Dwight was good too. And I don't think, for as much as I like Jokic, I think Jokic is honestly I think he should be a 4-time straight MVP, and they just don't want to do it for all the reasons that we had talked about. Even though he plays that position, it is so vastly different because Jokic is just a big body dude who can rebound. He's not playing defense, and that's the thing that was different about what we're talking. It's the same way you're talking about Gary Payton. Right, or Dwayne Wade, who was actually a fantastic defensive player, and people forget about that. What Flash really meant wasn't just like he was fast; it was he could get the ball, steal it, go on the breakaway, and just like on the fast break, and just slam that shit down 10.
Yeah.
From it, like Gary Payton's a glove for a reason, and defense dies to a degree. It'll come back, and everything like that with the players, but. That is you were the embodiment of it. It's the same way Ray Allen is the embodiment of like a 3-point shot. You know what I mean? Like I have given you like a tagline of what you were, and that it never goes to Melo. We have been doing some really good basketball analytics. You do not need to pay $30 a month for ESPN Unlimited. Yeah. Please, when we got the show, contribute if we have a Patreon or whatever. But
still do somewhere. It's still alive somewhere. All right, so, well, I think that's it. We stretched it out to 2 hours, Charles. So, bye, everybody.
Take care.